What's going on, guys? I'm Justin Swanstrom. This is the After Hours. I've been talking about it on the channel for a while now that we're going to start up a podcast. I'm still trying to learn all the ins and outs on getting a podcast up to Spotify, Apple, everything on how it works. But for right now, we're going to shoot our first video. We're just going to throw it up on a YouTube channel. We'll see how y'all like it and what we can do to improve and make the videos better from here on out. So make sure you watch this video, drop a like, drop a comment, let me know what we could work on, what we can do. It's going to be only me in this video, but the future videos, I do plan on having a second person with a mic and everything set up and special guest. I have a lot of pull, I guess you want to say, out there in the racing world and all that. I'm going to try to bring as many people as I can onto this podcast. So, again, I'm Justin Swanstrom, and welcome to the After Hours. In today's video, we are going to be going over the Street Outlaw No Prep King Season 4 rules.
Guaranteed, we'll go out there and crack somebody's ass. For all the haters out there that say we don't know how to do it, I got the best team in the world that's going to prove you wrong and show you just how good we fucking are.
Everyone knows we built the Lexus over at Cameron Johnson Race Cars. It is almost completed. We're supposed to pick the car up this Friday to be able to head up to Justin Elks at Modern Racing to get wired. Once we get it wired, we'll get it put on a dyno. We'll get out testing, and then we'll be able to go make a couple shakedowns, a couple hits, try to get the car figured out, tune-up figured out in the tight schedule we have, because the first race is supposedly supposed to go down at National Trail up in Ohio, June 4th and 5th. So that's what we're getting ready for. The car came out beautiful. We're just going to basically go over the rules now, not only for my combination, but for everybody else's combination, and kind of let y'all know what they changed from the 2019 season, because we didn't run in 2020 because of everything that's happened in this world. So with that, we're going to see what was changed in the rules, and then who do I think has the advantage this year with how the rules are written right now. All right, so if you go on noprep.com, you're able to go on the internet. If you have any kind on your cell phone, on your laptop, anything, y'all can go look at the rules as well. You can go under noprep.com. They got a bunch of videos with Boosted GT. You got Big Chief. You got Daddy Dave. I'm over here looking at it right now. But if you look at the rules, it'll be under No Prep Kings Season 4 rules down here. And the first thing that pops up, it just basically goes over a class overview of what you have to be able to run in the invitational race. For y'all that don't know what the invitational is, that is like the big dogs. That's your Big Chief, Ryan Martin, Chuck. I think it's Monza. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't really know him on a personal level. I know a lot of them: Kai Kelly, Lizzie Musey, Axeman. You've been seeing them on the TV here lately, but a lot of those people that I grew up racing with, either on the radial side or over on the big tire side, I know quite a bit of them. And they're all excellent people. They're great people to be around. But that's what that class is. Now they have a Future Street Outlaws, which that's what we ran at first. That basically is like, hey, come try out. If you're good, you can come up to the next part of the racing program and come run with the big dogs. And we did get pulled up. I was fortunate enough to be able to go out there, show some kind of progression, and they pulled me up, and that's why we have been invited to run with the big dogs now. But so basically, No Prep Kings tournament is a heads-up 8th mile class. Everything is run to the 8th mile. Let's see. I'm trying to read through this right now. All entries must maintain the factory wheelbase of the year, make, and model, plus or minus 3-inch. So what that says is like, I have a 2015 RC350 Lexus. The stock wheelbase on that car is 107.8 inches. That is what stock wheelbase, if you've seen it going down the street on the interstate, that's what stock wheelbase is. Plus or minus 3 inches means you are allowed to extend or shorten the wheelbase. You want to extend the wheelbase because it just helps with the performance of the car, weight percentage, and everything. But you're not allowed to extend it farther than the 3 inches. That is for Street Outlaw No Prep Kings rules. If you were to run NHRA rules or Radio vs. the World or something like that, you're only allowed 2 inches. We did push the car out 2 inches because we plan on running different races. We plan on running Pro Mod, Pro Boost. We got Radio vs. the World, Pro 275. But the main focus on this car will be the Street Outlaw No Prep King. So I did push it out 2 inches at the 109.7 on that deal there. Cars must have a factory dimension, full steel roof, full steel quarters. Some cars, like your Corvettes or like your 4th gen Camaros, which is I had one of those as well, they come factory with a fiberglass roof. So you're able to get away with it there because if it comes factory off of the lot with a fiberglass roof, you're able to run a fiberglass roof in that setup. Or if it has a sunroof in the car, you're able to run any kind of fiberglass setup on your car. But for the most part, your 69 Camaros, your like Ryan Martin's got, I think, a 2018 Camaro, the 6th gen. That car there is a steel roof, steel quarter car. My car is a steel roof, steel quarter car. Lizzie Musey had a 5th gen. I think she's coming out with a 69 Camaro as well. This year, we'll see how that's coming apart. I've been hearing some rumors about it, which is good for her. But yeah, you got to have and actually it says it right here. It just says OEM composite bodies, Corvette and or 4th gen Camaros are allowed to have a roof panel, which that's what I was just explaining to y'all. Maybe I should just start reading these down before I start talking. Cars must be able to pass NHRA tech for the weight and speed that the cars run. When you go to an event like this, it is very safe, secured. You have to be able to pass NHRA tech. They check everything. They check your roll cage. They check your helmet. They check your fire systems. They check everything on the car, seat belts, your gear, your shoes. I mean, they are very, very safety oriented out there. And that's a good thing because you're not just allowing anybody to come out there. I mean, I've seen people out there race, not at a Street Outlaw event, but I've seen people race at local tracks and be wearing swimming trunks with flip-flops. And then they get hurt and they wonder why they got hurt. So it's great to have all your safety gear. All right, so cars will be weighed each race, every round, must meet minimum weight limitations specifications. Below that, there's a little box right here, and we'll actually throw it in this video so y'all can see as well. And it basically just goes over and tells everybody what their base weight is. There's plus or minus for certain combos if you have different stuff, transmissions. We'll get into that here in a minute. But for to look underneath here, so we'll just go through and run it real quick. So your main power plants are your big block nitrous. I don't think anybody runs a small block nitrous in No Prep Kings. Big block nitrous, you got your big block roots blowers, screw blowers. You got your small block roots blowers, screw blowers, and then you got your big block for Pro Charger. I don't think anybody runs a small block setup in that deal, but my combination right here says big block centrifugal, which is this Pro Charger, 137 to 145 millimeter. We run a 140 Pro Charger. That's mostly what everybody runs. Ryan Martin, Axeman, Daddy Dave, they all run the same Pro Charger. But our base weight is 2,800 pounds. So start off is 2,800. There's certain add-ons and subtracts that we'll get to in a minute on that from that base weight to be able to tell you what our total weight is when we have to go across the scales. If you go across the scales and you are light, you will be disqualified. You will not be able to go to the next round. So that's kind of a good thing about that. Nitrous combinations. That's like Lizzie Musey. Kai supposedly has switched his combination. He has now went over to a blower setup. I seen someone leak a photo of it over at Larry Jeffers' shop. It is a great build, but I seen the Hemi motor Kai, so it's going to be, I'll be surprised to see exactly what he comes out with. I think it's going to be a blower setup. Not a Pro Charger, but a blower. But Lizzie for nitrous, which I had nitrous the first season of for my first season of No Prep Kings. They changed the rules a little bit. We used to have to weigh 2,600, but now for this season's rules, it says nitrous over 5-inch is 2,500 pounds base weight. Axeman, he's a Pro Charger. I'm trying to think who is a twin turbo this year. I want to say Vixen is. That's the Bruder brothers. Jack French that owns Atomizer. He's the one that owns that car. They have a twin turbo setup. I think Monza has a twin turbo setup. I'm trying to think who else has one that is on there. I want to say Kamikaze Chris has one, but I'm not 100% sure on that setup there. But the twin turbo setups right here, it says, let's see, big block, twin turbo, larger than 88 millimeter, usually where everybody's at. It's 3,050 pounds. That's kind of what Daddy Dave had to weigh last year. It's probably the reason why he was so slow. But hopefully he's a little bit faster this year. Fun fact, guys. Daddy Dave actually calls me daddy for the last 5 years. He's yet to beat me. Neither has Kai Kelly. So I plan on going into this year and stomping a hole in them, both of them, again and again and again. Ryan Martin, he is the one to beat right now. I've told people all the time, everybody asks, who do you want to race? Ryan is the guy that I want to race. I will race Ryan every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I plan on going in there with not being cocky, but being confident. I have a very healthy program. I got the best guys in the world, and I put a lot into this car to be able to have the best of the best, to run up front with everybody, and it's going to be whoever lets go of the button on the tree. Me being younger, faster reaction time, I like me over anybody when it comes down to letting the button go over the tree. So that was just a little segment in there because I had a couple people asking on the channel, who would I like to race? And I'm real good friends with Ryan. Ryan's helped me out with this build, getting a Pro Charger and everything set up. I appreciate him. He has got me hooked up with some great companies to work with. But when we go across the burnout box, that friendship right there, we can start our friendship whenever we hit the return road. So and he's the same way, and it's a great sport. So it's awesome about that. But Lizzie's 2,500 pounds. Pro Chargers got to weigh 2,800. Your twin turbos got to weigh 3,050. Larry Larson runs a single turbo. So it looks like it says twin turbo. Okay, big block single turbo has to weigh 2,700 pounds, up to 145 millimeter. I don't know what size he runs on that car, but so does Birdman. Birdman runs one too. There's quite a bit of people. They've come out with some new cars and everything this year. We'll probably get talking to that in a couple different episodes. But for right now, there's gonna be some tough competition, I tell you. But down below, so once you know the base weights, and we will have that picture on the video so you can kind of see that. Down below, it basically tells you where weight additions and deductions come from. So this is like for certain tire size, for certain lockups, for certain heads, you're allowed to either add weight or subtract weight. One thing that they did change this year that they did not run in our first season, well, two things, was the tire size and a lockup transmission. So there's a couple different ones in here. Basically, it's just saying all Ford boosted modular motors engines may deduct 100 pounds, but I don't know if anybody's even run anything like that. Okay. Any vehicle running smaller tire than a 36-inch sidewall may deduct 25 pounds. We run a 36-inch tire. Ryan Martin runs a 36-inch tire. So we will not be able to deduct 25 pounds. But I think like Daddy Dave and Kai Kelly, they run a 35-inch tall tire. They are allowed to take 25 pounds out of the car. So now me and Ryan Martin, we're still at 2,800. Daddy Dave gets to weigh 2,775 if he runs that. If he's running a 36-inch tall tire, he's got to weigh 2,800 pounds as well. That was one thing that they switched out from the my first season in 2019, and from this one here is the weight deduction for the 36-inch sidewall tire. Another one that they switched out was the lockup transmission. So you have to add 50 pounds to the car if you run a lockup transmission. You may deduct 50 pounds if you don't run a lockup transmission. So basically it's a 100-pound swing right there. So that's where people got to figure out when they go test, is the lockup really worth 100 pounds? I plan on testing, I plan on figuring out, and I plan on seeing what I'm going to weigh before I go to the first race. I'm not going to let that know right now, but we got some ideas of what we need to do, and we're going to figure everything out. But like people that run lockup, Lizzie Musey runs a lockup behind a nitrous motor, so she already has to weigh 2,500. So now she runs 2,550, and I believe she does not run the 36-inch tall tire, so she doesn't get no deduction there. So she'll her base weight will be 2,550. If she was to run a smaller tire, she'd weigh 2,525. But there's some things right here. Basically, just goes into what combinations you're allowed to have, what fuel you're allowed to run. You're not allowed to run no nitromethane with certain stuff. They do check that. They check fuel at the tracks. I've had them come up to us, and you had to open up your gas can lid and on the car, your cap, and they would actually put it inside this tube, and they would check the fuel just to see. I mean, they're very big on the rules, and they got people there that know what they're talking about. So there's nothing to get by with that deal right there. And it's actually a pretty good run, organized event, and I can't wait to actually go to the first race and just see how everything lines out, see all the new cars that everybody's been building, and can't wait to kick these boys and girls in the mouth. All right, so another thing that got switched from my first year of running and this year is the rear wing on the cars. If you've seen prenup in previous videos, you kind of look at the wing at the rear of the car and you're like, damn, that's ugly. Trust me, I know it's ugly too. But that is just the rules for the wing on these deals. Big Daddy Dwayne Mills, he kind of ruined it for everybody. He come in there with the Golden Gorilla and had a 8-foot wing with 2.5-foot side plates, and it was 3 foot tall, so it helped steer the car down the track. And basically they just said, you know what, we're just going to kick that idea out the window. Nobody's going to come with that no more. Plus they were wanting to go back more to factory looking style cars, like the cars that you would see on the interstate or anywhere on the street. So with the rear wing, new rule, it says the maximum length of wing deck is 20 inches measured from the center of the trailing edge of the original deck lid. Location to the trailing edge of the center of the wing. The leading edge of the wing may not extend towards the rear window more than 1/3 of the original deck lid length. The maximum wicker bill height is 2 inches at any point along the trailing edge of the wing. The maximum sill plate. The maximum sill plate size is 27 inches long, 8 inches tall, and only a maximum of 2 inches in height may extend above the wing deck surface. So basically what they're saying is at the back of the deck lid, every car's got a deck lid on it. Doesn't matter if you're out there like Larry Larson and you try to hide the body line to try to get a couple extra inches. Doesn't work. But every car's got a deck lid on it. So basically what they're saying is from the deck lid to the back of the wing, you're only allowed 20 inches. It don't matter if it's in the center, if it don't matter if it's on the side. At any point on the wing, it can only be 20 inches. So if you see most wings, they have like a tapered backside to them. That's why. You're only allowed 27 inches on the side plate. That's the side of the wings. That's usually what mounts to the quarter panels of the car and goes to the rear. So me personally, I went ahead and took up all 27 inches. I went ahead and put 27 inches sill plates on the side of it. They're only allowed to be 8 inches tall. There is a few cars out there that are trying to hide the gray area and trying to like add a couple inches here and there. And I understand having a couple inches is always better, but rules are rules. When it comes down to the first race, we're going to make sure everybody is under the same amount of rules. So you're only allowed to have 8 inches tall with it having 2 inches up top. So really, the side plate's only allowed to be 6 inches hanging down from the wing because you got to have 2 inches up top to be able to trap the air, help control the car, and going down the track. So that was another thing that got switched around this year. Ryan Martin, Daddy Dave and them, they've already been out testing. It seems to not really hurt them. They're running extremely fast. Ryan's car looks effortlessly going down the track. I mean, I'm jealous of it. That thing just plows on down through there, and it looks super, super fast. Dave, on the other hand, his shit's still slow. But he'll get around. He'll come around and he'll get to it. We have a pretty cool relationship, so I'm sure he'll call me after this video as I'm talking shit about him, but it'll be okay. All right, so let's talk about the bodies, because there is a couple cars out there that has modified some things to be able to make work for them. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to say no names. They already know who they are. We'll see if they get away with it. So be it. If they do, not a big deal. But you're really not supposed to modify any of the body parts on the car. They want it to look factory, basically how it comes from the dealership. So, but this one under here, there is one deal that that's a little bit different from the NHRA rules, and that is if you want to run an extender on the front of the car, because not everybody has a lengthy front end. Like Jeff Lutz. Jeff Lutz got that Pro Mod front end out there with that new GTO. That thing's aerodynamic. Him, Jack French, straight Pro Mods. That's just what they are. They are Pro Mods in a sheep clothing. But you are allowed a 47-inch overhang. So, like, if you were to take my style car, which it has a little bit bigger front bumper than Daddy Dave's Chevy 2. It's got a real short bumper on it. So he is allowed to have 47 inches from the center of the spindle out to the front of the car. So you'll see people put wicker bills out there, dick extenders, anything like that. And what they do is they measure from the center of the spindle out 47 inches, and that's how far you're allowed to build your piece out. So like Dave with the short front end, he may have, I don't know, 10 or 12 inch extender hanging out the front of that thing, where a car like mine, I'll only have 2 or 3 inch extender, just because my front end's out there more. But they allow everybody to have 47 inches of overhang, so everybody has basically the same opportunity, and it helps with ET. Putting them on the front of your car, now you're crossing the finish line and the beam's hitting it way out there than it is hitting your front end or your front tire or anything like that. So that is a cool thing to have. Now, NHRA or Radio vs. the World class racing and everything, you're only allowed 45 inches. So No Prep Kings does allow you to push an extra 2 inches. I went ahead and made mine at 45 because of all the other racing that I'll be doing. The extra 2 inches don't really mean nothing for me. If I didn't cut a good light and I'm there at the end and I'm over 2 inches, they deserve to win that race. So all cars, minimum ground clearance is 3 inches from the nose. That means the nose has to be off the ground 3 inches. There will be no hanging down on the ground, scrubbing ET, figuring that all out. It will be 3 inches off the ground for the whole entire front end. Nose to 12 inches behind front spindles, including front exit style headers. So a lot of that stuff is coming in. Says all nitrous bottles must be securely mounted and be safety vented with pop off outside of the vehicle. I used to have that stuff in my car. Let's see if they say anything about Pro Chargers. No, they don't. There's not a whole lot of rules. It's just you kind of got to read through them. You just got to make sure that you are on the same setup. What setup I think is going to have the advantage this year is going to be... Let me look through these rules one more time and just see... I think if somebody comes up with a small block roots blower, that will be the setup to win. Only being, y'all seen David Reese out there with his Noonan motor with that small block root setup, and it thing ran extremely fast. When they actually banned it from Radio vs. the World just because it was so fast, and adding weight to it really didn't even slow it down. But and I don't think anybody has a small block roots blower coming into this deal here. So I'm not sure really if anybody has an advantage. The rules seem to be pretty tight right now, from nitrous to pro charger to twin turbo. It's just going to be whoever tests and whoever gets their setup right and combination and goes out there and just kicks ass. So I'm excited about this year. I can't wait to actually lay it down with the fellas and the females and have some fun. There's some great things that we're going to be doing along the channel and going cross country, traveling, meeting new fans, everything. It's a cool experience, and I'm glad I'm able to do it. Everything is starting to come together with the prenup build. That is the Street Outlaw No Prep King Season 4 build. Lexus that we got going on. Like I said in the beginning of this video, we are to pick it up Friday. We are to drop it off at Modern Racing Monday morning so them guys can start getting wiring done. We will pick it up from them on the 28th so we can put it on a dyno, and then we will get ready to go test. We have like a 4 or 5 day window to try to find a racetrack to try to test this new combination, new car, new transmission, new rear end, new rear gear. There's a lot of new stuff on this car. So with that there, we'll have a couple days to try to make a couple shakedowns to get ready for the first race up in Ohio on June 4th and June 5th. So anyways, guys, we're not going to make this a super long video. This is going to be our first video. This is basically like our podcast. We will get set up to be able to have it on Spotify, Apple, everything set up. We're just going to do a video format of it too, so we can put it on the YouTube channel as well. I plan on putting a lot of things into this podcast. I plan on bringing a lot of people in. We will have special guests with everything set on. It won't just be me up here talking every time. I love being able to be people's person and interact and hang out with more. But that's it for this video. We're just going over the rules because we are getting ready to run our first race in like less than 22 days. So we're just getting everything ready, getting everything situated. We have to put a lot of weight inside the car. I'm thinking we're going to have to add about 300 pounds to be able to get to our base weight, but that's okay. Cameron and the boys over there, they're getting everything knocked out. They're assembling the car this week. New motor supposed to be done at Proline tomorrow, so I will head up there. I will pick that up, get it back to Cameron, and then we'll be able to get everything finished, situated, so we can get up and get it wired. I'm Justin Swanstrom. This is the After Hours. We are going to be making this big here soon. Make sure if you haven't done it already, subscribe to this channel and like and comment down below. That's what drives the channel. That's what makes the algorithm work for YouTube. So with y'all throwing likes, with y'all dropping comments, I greatly appreciate that. And if you haven't went over and got your merch yet, you can head over to justinswanstrom69.com. We got shirts, we got hats, we got a lot of stuff, and we got a lot of new stuff coming here soon. So again, I'm Justin Swanstrom. I'll see y'all later.